Fiorella Belpoggi is the scientific director of the Ramazzini Institute in Italy. She managed the long-term study on animals exposed to base station radiation, published in 2018, and has a distinguished record of research in toxicology.
Good morning. I am Fiorella Belpoggi, and I am the scientific director of the Ramazzini Institute in Bologna, Italy. And I am here to present one of the studies performed at the Ramazzini Institute. The castle that you are seeing here is a Renaissance castle which is guesting our laboratories from 1971. So what I can say is that next year we are celebrating 50 years of research on cancer in this building. So our institute performed, starting from 2005, a large study on Sprague-Dawley rats. One of the 200 studies that we have studied, 200 agents that we have studied up to now, and this study was already published in 2000. This study was already published in 2018, and we have another study on more than 600 animals, where we have studied radiofrequencies combined with the gamma radiation at a very low level, similar to the one that we are exposed during a computerized tomography. This study is still ongoing, and starting from the first study, the one on 1.8 gigahertz, 1800 megahertz, performed on Sprague-Dawley rat. We have studied 3 different fields of electromagnetic fields at 50 voltmeter, 25 voltmeter, and 5 voltmeter, compared to a control that was involving more than 800 animals. The exposure was continuous over the day, 19 hours a day, 7 days every week, starting from the embryo life. And what we did with these electromagnetic fields was to reproduce a human equivalent situation where humans are exposed to the base stations, to the masts, and so a far field. Reproducing the far field, we were complementary to the study of the National Toxicology Program, where they studied a kind of field that was very similar also in terms of energy absorbed by the bodies of the animals, very similar to the mobile phone itself. In our case, we're studying antennas. So as you can see, we started the experiment from the pregnancy of the dams, and so at the half of pregnancy, when the different organs were already differentiated. So it was not a study on embryogenesis, but on the first time of life where organs were already defined, or already defined but not differentiated. And starting at that point, the animals continued for all the lifespan to be exposed in a exposure system where we reproduced something like like a large building with little flat where animals 3-4 per cage were located for all the lifespan, with a central antenna that emitted, changing the power of the emission to 3 different electromagnetic fields: 5, 25, and 50 volt meter. Why this not so high electromagnetic fields? Because we would like to reproduce the human situation and environmental situation that, like in humans, we start to be exposed by antennas from the embryo life and during all our life. And in Italy, at fields that could be very close to the one that we studied, because the attention level in Italy for people who stay more than 4 hours in the same place is 6 volt meter. So this is the apparatus, the exposure system, and the design was the one that I presented before. And what were the results on brain and heart, and why we published in a preliminary publication these results? Because in 2016-17, the National Toxicology Program in the United States published preliminary results in which they declared that they have observed in male rats an increase of brain gliomas, malignant gliomas, and heart schwannomas. In the same period, we were analyzing our slides, and we had already observed in few animals this rare tumor of the heart. So we decided to improve the funding that we dedicated to this study, and we started to be quickly in analyzing all the slides of all the groups, treated and untreated groups, as regard brain and heart, in order to verify if we had the same results. And so this was the case. And we also found at the higher dose an increase of statistically significant of malignant schwannomas in males at a higher dose of 50 volt meter. Remember that ICNIRP has classified recently RFR and has established a value for the electromagnetic field of 61 volt meter. So we were very close and lower than the limit established by ICNIRP. And also we noted an increase in Schwann cell hyperplasia that is a precursor of the malignant schwannoma. So we published this data, and there was a lot of criticism, but I have to say that the design of the study, the way in which we conducted the study and the assessment of exposure, and also the results in terms of pathology were not criticized. What was under criticism was only the fact that the number of tumor was low. And we answered saying that also if 1.4 is not a high level, but if we compare our study with what could happen in the human population with 7 billion of people, 1.4 of schwannomas is a lot in terms of numbers, are millions of people that could be affected by this pathology. So this doesn't mean that we have not the danger. This means that we have a danger of a low level, and we have to manage this danger, lowering the sources of the exposure. As regards the last results we have examined, we noted, and I have to say that this result were very comfortable, because all of us are exposed also during all the day due to the vicinity of an antenna, or for our work on some other situation. So as regard the benign total benign tumor, we have not observed any particular increase. And this happened also for the total number of malignant tumor. What I would like to underline is that the survival was the same in the 4 groups we have evaluated. But you know, if you die with a early tumor of the heart, for example, you cannot have in the later age other kind of tumor related only to the age. So we will look to the different organ and tissue before publishing this new and last paper on the global results of this study. But what is comfortable for us is the fact that we have not noted any statistically significant increase of malignant tumor. So what are we doing now? We are updating all our pathological criteria and publishing our papers in compliance with the new classification for this kind of studies. We are characterizing with the immunohistochemistry all the borderline lesion, in particular of the lymphoreticular system. And this is a slide that shows how we proceed for each of the cases of lymphomas and leukemia that we have observed, and this will happen both in treated and untreated animals. And we will share, if possible, in a second opinion session, all the pathological slides we have observed. We are now performing the statistical evaluation, and as regards the synergistic study, the histopathological evaluation is ongoing. We have already all slides prepared. This is the staff of the Ramazzini Institute in this, only few of us, because we divided the personnel in groups and we were not working all together in order to avoid infection spreading if in some case one of us could be positive. So this period was very hard, and we accomplished in completing all the study in spite of all the trouble we have had, both in terms of resources, personal resources, but also in terms of financial resources, because leaving us with the donation of citizens, this was a very, very difficult time for all of us. So I hope that my presentation was clear enough to make you understand that we are really crossing the issue of radiofrequency with the upcoming 5G technologies in a very, very difficult way. And that I hope that our data could help in risk assessment, maintaining the low level that nowadays we have already in Italy, but that, from my opinion, should be spread all over in the world. Thank you very much.